On this episode of What's Going On with Shipping, the CEO of Frontline talks about the collision near the Straits of Hormuz. I'm your host, Sal Mercogliano. Welcome to today's episode. I'm just back from Marine Money in New York City, and at the last day's event on a panel discussing tankers, the Chief Executive Officer of Frontline, Lars Barstad, discussed the accident that befell his tanker, the Front Eagle, and another tanker, the Adalynn, which is a Russian Dark Fleet tanker. Let's hear what Lars has to say.
What transpired with us on Monday is the nightmare of any ship owner sitting here. And, you know, I appreciate not all of you are seafarers. So just to give you kind of an impression of what's going on, you know, you have a 3 football field long tanker fully laden with crude oil, you know, sailing at 13.5 knots. And then all of a sudden you end up in a collision with a vessel that you don't know who owns, you don't know who manages, you don't know who insures. Luckily, it all went well, you know, incredibly actually, looking at some of the footage. But it's customary in such a situation that you as an owner establish contact with the other owner. This is, you know, kind of basically to try and manage the situation, not discussing who's at fault, but just to manage the situation and keep the seafarers safe and the environment protected. This was not possible in this instant. And it just explains how crazy this market has become when this can happen. We have some fellow owners that have experienced some of the same, but this is the first time Frontline is exposed to it. You know, we've been very vocal on kind of how dangerous this situation can become with the dark fleet. But here we had a very, very close call of having 2 million barrels of crude oil in a big sheet in the Middle East. So I just, you know, it's a super scary experience.
So just to recount the event that Lars is talking about, the motor tanker Front Eagle was outbound from the Persian Gulf. It had come through the Straits of Hormuz, and it encountered a tanker, the Adalynn. And we have these images of the Adalynn after the event. Adalynn, about 160,000 ton Suezmax tanker, was in ballast. You can see how high it is. Haven't been able to ascertain how the Front Eagle hit the vessel. And what I mean by how it hit it, was it a direct hit or was it a side swipe? I think it's a side swipe. I don't think the Front Eagle's bow went into it. I think it was actually a hit. You can see how open the ship is. Just horrific. And one of the things that we're seeing now is the residual damage from the collision. Here is some satellite imagery. This is from Tanker Trackers, posted on to Twitter, showing you the location of the vessel just outside the Straits of Hormuz, just south of it, off the coast of Oman, about 40 to 50 miles. You're also starting to see a slick form from the vessel. Now, the ship was in ballast. It's riding high. So this may be some residual crude oil that was in the vessel that was being washed. There's a couple of questions about what the ship was doing. It was leaving Fujairah at a very slow speed. It could be it was doing what's called crude oil washing the tanks, trying to get the residual material off the tanks. And that could have been an issue which resulted in when the hull was penetrated, you build up an explosive vapor in there and you get the subsequent fire that we have seen. This is the track of the 2 vessels. So this is Front Eagle coming out of Iraq, heading down the Persian Gulf. In this area here is where we had the GPS spoofing. If you watch my previous video, I'll have it connected above there for you to see. You'll see the vessel's position is sent from here in the Persian Gulf up to Ukraine, right around Kharkov and Kyiv, and then sent back down. And then what we see is elements of GPS jamming. The collision took place here outside the Straits of Hormuz. Here we see Front Eagle heading southbound at this moment. It's 2000 hours on 16 June UTC, 4 hours ahead here. So you're looking at right around midnight on the morning of 17 June. Front Eagle is southbound at 12.8 knots. It had come out of Hormuz here. Front Eagle has a very slow vessel here. It has to avoid the Deniz. Meanwhile, Adalynn is in a situation here with a couple of vessels dealing with the ship, the Victoria Glory here. It has to pass. Here's Front Eagle coming southbound, Adalynn moving. Now after that position, Victoria Glory is continuing north. Adalynn now is moving east. Front Eagle, it's I don't know why it flipped here, but it's heading southbound at this moment. And you'll see them coming in. They get past the BSE Energy, and Adalynn seems to be throwing out some different maneuvers here. When you look at Adalynn's track, she is not moving very fast, and Front Eagle now has to deal with Adalynn. Front Eagle has the speed. You don't tend to change speed on vessels because it's difficult to do. Plus, Front Eagle is a 300,000-ton ship. It doesn't change speed very quickly. It doesn't maneuver very quickly either, I might add. So for Front Eagle in this situation, seeing the port side of Adalynn, Front Eagle has got the speed on her. She should be able to pass. What you want to look at is the bearing here. Is it a constant but decreasing bearing? If that's the case, that indicates a collision. They have radar systems with collision avoidance systems on the vessel, so that data is available to them. What we have heard repeatedly now is that the GPS spoofing that went on in the Persian Gulf was not a factor here. So this gets us down to the two individuals who have the helm controls here, the mates on watch, on the bridge of the Front Eagle and the bridge of the Adalynn. And what you see here is Front Eagle decides to start turning into the Adalynn, and I'm just not sure why. There doesn't seem to be any traffic that will cause Front Eagle to turn it. The only thing I can think of is that they thought that Adalynn was a little further ahead, and therefore they were going to try to pass under its stern. So they're swinging to try to pass under their stern, but Adalynn begins turning to the right. And that's what creates this situation. And this is why I tend to think that what we get here is that side swipe, is the port quarter of Front Eagle hits the port side of Adalynn, and you get that spill that occurs. And you can see right there that Adalynn begins to slow down, and then both vessels begin to move off from each other. Front Eagle is anchored in the big anchorage off Fujairah right now, probably undergoing damage assessment. Last position of Adalynn is right here, but this is a June 17th position, so we don't have an up-to-date AIS on her, so we're not exactly sure where she's at in terms of AIS tracking. We know from satellite where she's located. But one of the issues that was brought up by Lars at Marine Money was the issue with the ship's ownership. They could not figure out who owns it. There was no way to contact the owner, and if you can't contact the owner, there's no way to get insurance information so that they can contact salvage crews to go up and help assist them. There wasn't even an ability to assist the crew that was evacuated off the Adalynn, and this is where I found Lars' talk the most interesting.
It's a super scary experience. I'm very happy to share that we have established via local agents that the other ship's crew are safe in a hotel in Fujairah. But it's just insane that we are the ones who have to communicate this, not the owner of that vessel. So I just want to say that. But luckily, it went well, and hopefully, we will learn from this experience. Thank you.
So this is my first time at Marine Money, and I actually got a chance to talk to Lars after that event, and he was very humbled by it. I gotta tell you, I mean, there's a lot of money there. I mean, you're talking with ship owners, ship brokers, you name it. The amount of millionaires and billionaires there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of wealth right there. But Lars Barstad was very sincere in the potential of a danger here. I mean, his vessel, fully loaded, 300,000 tons of oil. Here you have this dark fleet tanker. Can't identify the owner. Fortunately, it was empty, but we still have the vessel burning. We were able to save the crew, but the crew's basically been abandoned because there's no way to track who owns the vessel and if there's any insurance on the vessel. I don't know where the International Maritime Organization is on this, because they really need to do something about this. How are we having ships sail out on the oceans without clear registries, without clear ownership, and without clear insurance? I mean, it's I can't do that in a car in North Carolina, yet obviously on the high seas, you can get away with it. And I think the Front Eagle's collision with the Adalynn is an indication of the problems crews are encountering. It may not have been GPS spoof related directly, but I almost guarantee you that issues with navigation systems are putting a lot of strain on the crews, and it's raising some issues. I've sailed through the Persian Gulf multiple times, and I did it before and with GPS. And you know, you get bad visibility in there. You can get dust storms, sandstorms. There's fishing boats, dhows that don't show up on marine traffic. You don't see them there. There's a lot, especially coming out of that region where Front Eagle had its collision. There'll be lines of fishing boats in and around that area. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so be alerted about new videos as they come out. Leave a comment, share it across social media, and if you can, support the page. How do you do that? You hit the super thanks button down below, or head on over to Patreon and become a monthly, yearly subscriber. Till the next episode, Sal, signing off.